and welcome to the Chesapeake Public Schools Family Empowerment Webinar. My name is Laura Lerf, and I'm one of the Family and Community Engagement Specialists. Our office, which is part of the Department of Engagement, aims to build meaningful partnerships that inspire, engage, and empower families, educators, and community organizations to support the initiatives of Chesapeake Public Schools. We are typically available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can reach us at our main phone line, 757-482-5923, or via email at face@cpschools.com. We look forward to working together to strengthen our community and support our students. Our goal is to continue providing families with valuable webinars, events, and information to empower them in the educational setting. We're excited to offer our families the Peak Parent University Catalog, which provides an overview of all of our events for the school year. Here, you can also catch up on pre-recorded webinars, explore a wide range of educational resources, and make valuable community connections to enhance your family's well-being. Please take a moment to scan the QR code, which will give you access to our Peak Parent University Catalog. This will provide you with monthly updates, including descriptions, times, and locations of upcoming events. We hope you will join us for our next few events, which are listed on the screen. You can also go to cpschools.com and in the search menu, type Peak Parent University. We thank you for joining us tonight for the Kindergarten Here We Come webinar to give you information about the class of 2037. We're excited to have joining us tonight panelists from various departments within Chesapeake Public Schools and the City of Chesapeake. Please keep in mind that this webinar is aimed at kindergarten readiness to help prepare your child for entering kindergarten. To find out more information about your child's specific school, please plan to attend their kindergarten information night. Before we begin, I want to let you know that this webinar is being recorded to share on our Chesapeake Public Schools YouTube channel. Participants' cameras and the chat feature have been disabled. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature located at the bottom of this screen. We will answer all questions by the conclusion of tonight's presentation. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists. First, we have Lisa Carey, one of my partners in the Office of Family and Community Engagement with Chesapeake Public Schools. Lauren Perez, who's the coordinator of Chesapeake Preschool Initiative in Chesapeake Public Schools. And Emily Edmonds, who is the Community Programs Administrator for Chesapeake Thrives. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for being here tonight. Tonight's agenda will discuss enrollment information and procedures, tips to ensure your child is ready to be successful in kindergarten, the top 10 things you should discuss with your child about kindergarten, and various childcare resources. We will make sure to answer any questions before the conclusion of tonight's presentation. At this time, I would like to turn the program over to Lisa Carey.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Laura, for that introduction. I want to share with you some information regarding enrollment. Each school is hosting their own kindergarten kickoff night, and they will provide you with more information as the time goes through. Basic information is required for all enrollees: proof of residency or a lease, water bill, or something of that nature, along with custody papers if you have them, foster care paperwork. IEP information should also be provided at the time of enrollment. If your child participated in the Chesapeake Preschool Initiative or the CPI program, parents will need to update both their child's physical and immunization records. If you log into cpschools.com/enroll, you will find required paperwork that you will need in addition to the online registration link and frequently asked questions. Additionally, Virginia is not a choice state. So therefore, children must attend their zoned school, and it's very important. And if you go into the cpschools.com/enrollment page, you type in your address, it will let you know what school your child will be zoned for. Information regarding this can also be found in this link at the bottom of the screen. We are encouraging all future kindergarten families to go ahead and schedule doctor's appointments now for physicals and immunizations, as there is limited availability as we get closer to the start of the school year. Physicals must be within the calendar year. Listed on the screen are the immunizations that are required for 5-year-olds entering school. Newly added to the physicals is the TB risk assessment. This assessment is a quick questionnaire to assess and document a patient's symptoms and or risk factors for TB infection. School physicals can be found on our Chesapeake Public Schools enrollment page as well. Additionally, if your child has asthma or will be required to take medication during the school day, please make sure you download the necessary forms, which must be completed by a physician in order for the school nurse to administer medication during the day. The online registration portal will open on Monday, April 7th. This link is also referred to as the Parent View account. If you have already have a student that's attending Chesapeake Public Schools, you will simply log into that account or the OLR and register a new student. Please remember that pre-K, such as the CPI, Early Childhood SPED, and Reverse Mainstream programs, students should not register for a new account. However, they can update their physical and immunizations information with their already established Parent View account. If you get confused, don't worry. Parent View will require parents to answer a few brief questions prior to creating a new account. If you have already established an account, the system will notify you and guide you to the next steps. If your child receives special education services during the 2024-2025 school year, you will not need to register again. Please note that these services include early childhood special education classrooms, reverse mainstream, and CPI and speech therapy. If you have any questions regarding your child's services, please contact Christine Starkey at 757 547-0153. And the number listed on the screen, the 757-494-7600, is the same number. So both numbers will route you to Christine Starkey. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Lauren Perez, coordinator of CPI. Actually, before I do that, I want to say one more thing. So we talk about why kindergarten. In Virginia, kindergarten is designed to support the social, emotional, physical, and intellectual growth of your young child. It places a strong emphasis on developing fundamental skills in literacy, math, and other key areas to help set the stage for future academic success. Each day, children engage in meaningful learning that experiences include speaking, reading, writing, math, social studies, technology, health, music, movement, and art. This is a crucial time in your child's development and readiness for school. So let's explore some essential skills that your child will be working on before starting kindergarten. Now, at this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Lauren Perez, coordinator for CPI, who will talk to you more about kindergarten readiness. Welcome, Lauren.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. As Ms. Carey mentioned, I am Lauren Perez, and I am the Chesapeake Preschool Initiative Coordinator, otherwise known as CPI Coordinator, and I am thrilled to be here tonight to hopefully bring you some beneficial information for your family. On behalf of Chesapeake Public Schools, I do want to reiterate how thankful we are that you have joined us here tonight. We understand that regardless of whether you have other children in Chesapeake Public School already, or if you are new to the division, that this is a monumental milestone for your upcoming kindergartner, and we look forward to partnering with you. So again, please know that we are honored to be a part of your child's educational journey. So tonight I am presenting about kindergarten readiness. We will review the definition of kindergarten readiness and how your role as a parent or guardian aligns with it. I will also be featuring quick examples of some of the kindergarten readiness concepts, along with some takeaway activities that you can do at home to help prepare your child for kindergarten. So let's take a look at what kindergarten readiness is. So Virginia's definition of you can go back one, I apologize. Thank you so much. So Virginia's definition of school readiness focuses not only on whether a child has acquired basic skills, but also on the capabilities of the families, schools, and communities that best support children's acquisition of these skills. So it's important to reiterate that each component, the children, the families, the schools, and the community all play an essential role in the development of your child's school readiness. Not one component can stand on its own. So with that notion, let's dive a little bit deeper into these various areas to see some examples of what being ready for kindergarten looks like. So while the development of an upcoming kindergartner ranges, a kindergarten-ready child is prepared socially, personally, physically, and intellectually within the children's developmental domains. Highlighting some of the areas include being able to communicate effectively, displaying emerging literacy and math skills, and being able to exhibit personal skills and self-regulation along with social skills with others. As a parent or guardian, you are your child's first teacher and the most important person in your child's life. Therefore, you have already begun teaching and modeling these everyday skills within various levels and scenarios within your home, which brings us to that family's portion. Not only are you fostering learning for your upcoming kindergartner, but you provide the environment for your child to learn, to grow, and develop. Promoting supportive relationships and fostering excitement about learning, along with being engaged, interested, and invested in your child's growth and development, whether it be physically, cognitively, and emotionally, contributes to your child being ready for kindergarten. Please know that raising your developing child is not a task that has to be completed alone, and this is where that community and the schools portion come into the picture. A ready community plays a crucial part in supporting your family with your child's readiness. The community can provide resources and support, such as family health services that you can use for your child, as well as various organizations and providers that you might also utilize. The community also provides public assets and opportunities for early care and education for some of our youngest learners. The last section is the schools portion, which embeds where we are tonight. A ready school system provides transitions between home and school, supports the staff to ensure high-quality education for your child, and provides resources as a partner for your family. As you continue through your child's educational journey, please remember that the child, the family, the community, and the schools work together to help your child succeed. Now that we've gone over the overarching understanding of the 4 components that comprise kindergarten readiness, let's dive a little bit more into the detail of the children's kindergarten readiness portion and things that you can do to help increase their readiness. So we're going to discuss various categories that families can address at home. I'm going to briefly discuss each of these sections and also share some fun activities that you can do at home to help your child develop in these areas. If you are looking for somewhere to start, I encourage you to focus on that left-hand side of the chart. While all areas are significant, the left side has some of the most important foundational skills needed. In fact, the executive function skills, which are listed on the left, are a key predictive indicator for success of future learning in all of the rest of these domains. So that is another reason why I'm stressing that side of the skills with great importance. Please also know that there might be things I cover that you are already aware of, or maybe even already doing. So I hope you do find some validation and some success within my components, as well as some possible new ideas tonight. So let's go ahead and start with social skills. So social skills are feelings and behaviors that are displayed to others by your child. These skills are needed when interacting with others, whether it be adults or with their peers. In this category, we want to aim for recognizing and identifying others' feelings and being able to take turns in sharing. This area is very crucial for kindergartners and is often a longer practice to develop. So please work alongside your child's teacher as this piece connects to creating relationships with others. To practice developing social skills, you can discuss your day, highlight things your children might see when watching their cartoons or movies. You can model discussing your feelings, which is another great way to cover identifying and understanding emotions. Taking turns and sharing can be done during play. Take time to enjoy your child. Build taking turns and sharing within that playing concept. You can play games, do outside activities, play a sport, or accompany your child when he or she plays pretend. Spending a little time each day with an intentional focus on sharing and taking turns goes a long way towards developing those social skills. So as we move into self-regulation, I like to think of it as self-regulation being what is occurring within your child. These skills include being able to have self-control, maintaining persistence during a difficult task, and developing focus or paying attention as well as following directions. As you can imagine, these skills take time and practice to develop and often require modeling by the adult displaying self-regulation themselves in order for the child to develop these skills. So, developing self regulation can be done through taking on a task and having your child sustain through it. Encourage them to finish what they had started and not just give up. Have your child be exposed to a downtime where there are no electronics and they are able to quietly and independently work on a project or a task, such as coloring or Play Doh. These are good suggestions for this. If your child has a harder time maintaining focus or having persistence, start with a small amount of time, such as 5 minutes, and build up to longer periods of time over a gradual time span. Having your child think ahead and also control their impulses is a great way to develop self regulation. And this can occur through games such as Red Light, Green Light, or Simon Says. You can even play preschool or kindergarten music that have directions in the song and help them follow along to those directions. Another important area for kindergarten readiness is having your child develop independence and self help. Being able to use the restroom independently and getting dressed, whether it is putting on a jacket, tying a shoe, or buttoning their pants after the restroom, are all important facets of having your child find success in kindergarten. You can develop these skills by having your child increase their practice with buttons, snaps, and zippers. If your child is working towards full bathroom independence, continue to set goals and expectations as you work towards that final outcome. If your child is happening to still be working towards utilizing the bathroom independently by the beginning of the year, I kindly request that you partner with your child's teacher and inform them, before the first day of school with your child's current status, and your child's teacher can work with you and provide resources and next steps if needed. As I'm sure you understand, having developed language skills is an area that increases kindergarten readiness. So, did you know that according to the researcher McLaughlin, by the time children enter kindergarten, they are generally able to say a few thousand words and understand thousands more? So, when speaking, reflect on whether your child is speaking in full sentences. Is she or he able to express their ideas or needs verbally? And whether or not your child can generate questions and answer them. Regardless of the developmental stage that your child is in, you can continue to develop this skill. The best way to develop language is through talking and modeling. Be intentional about having conversations with your child, and try to use different vocabulary. It is okay to repeat yourself and to repeat what your child is saying. Feel free to explain your thoughts and words as you have these important conversations. I know in the busy world that we have, it is sometimes hard to stop to talk, but please remember you can have great conversations while you're on the go or while you're completing other needed tasks, such as house items. In fact, according to another researcher, Paulson and Motes, the number of words young children hear and the type of language interactions in their environments are significantly correlated to their academic achievement in the future intermediate grades. So before spiraling to the right side, I wanted to pause to reiterate that the left areas I covered provide a gateway into kindergarten success. Regardless of where your child is in the spectrum of learning within those areas, it can always be enhanced or developed at your child's pace. We will now move to the right side where we have some more academic-based foundational skills. So fine motor skills are an area that is often needing development initially in kindergarten due to the increased amount of cutting, writing, and drawing. When working those muscles in the hand, it requires practice and effort to build that muscle, just as in any other muscles in your body. So let's review some quick ways to practice developing those muscles. So to develop these muscles, basically any activity that requires small hand movement will help. Some ideas include snipping paper into small pieces. If you do that, I recommend doing that activity over a trash can. You can also move small items with a tweezer or a pinching technique of using the child's forefinger and the thumb. The child can grab cereal, beads, or other small objects to move them from one spot to another. If you do have anything like lacing strings or yarn, you can string cereal circles on them, or you can practice any motion that requires the hand to open and close, such as squeezing a softball. If you are practicing the fine motor skills of actual handwriting strokes, scribbles, or drawings, have your child take the time to explain what he or she drew. Not only will that help with developing that fine motor piece, but it will also help with that language and literacy connection as well. So speaking of literacy, let's take a peek into those early literacy skills. So some of the concepts covered under early literacy skills include listening to stories and being exposed to basic print concepts, such as seeing words on a page and learning word directionality, as well as increasing the vocabulary words they hear. Beginning to understand the alphabet and their name are important first steps. The best advice that I can give as a mother and as an educator is to read, read, read. Reading does wonders on development and learning. When reading to your child, take a moment to ask questions about the story, but remember to just have fun. Modeling reading and the enjoyment of reading is one of the best gifts that you can give your child. With that being said, if your early literacy reader does show an interest in books and wants to read to you, let the magic happen. See if his or her story follows the pictures and show your upcoming kindergartner what a good listener looks like. And it is okay if they don't know the words. So did you know that your child might already be recognizing the earlier stages of reading? Environmental print is reading by recognizing the print around them in the real world. Practice reading environmental print as they see it on TV or around the community, as that is a gateway into reading for those initial stages that I talked about. As you continue to develop pre-literacy skills, I know parents often want to address the alphabet. You can start by practicing to sing that alphabet song. If you can sing it while pairing the visual letters to it, that increases the knowledge. For letters, of course, you can start with the letter name identification. And when focusing on letters in your child's name, in addition to the letter ID, you can also have the child sort letters that are in his or her name and the letters that are not in his or her name. If your child needs a little bit more challenge, they can match uppercase letters or capital letters to lowercase letters, or they can even embed the concept of letter sounds if they're ready for that. But please know that being able to know the full alphabet when entering kindergarten is not a developmentally appropriate expectation. But if you are looking for a good benchmark to start at, it's about roughly 15 to 18 uppercase letters and 10 to 15 lowercase letters. But again, your kindergarten teacher will partner with you on this. Moving on, moving on to another activity. Have fun with your child's name by writing the name on a piece of paper and cutting each letter out to have your child practice sequencing or putting the name in order. You are also welcome to have your child start writing his or her name. Work on one letter at a time. If they are not ready for letter writing, start with simple strokes, working up to that letter formation. If your child would like to have a challenge and has mastered his or her first name, feel free to move on to his or her last name, or perhaps copy words that are around them in the community and the environment. So, bridging us into our final section of early math concepts, it is important to note that math can be another large category. However, we're only going to focus on a small portion of the number sense section. As I mentioned, while number sense is a deep concept, for foundational purposes, I want to focus on counting, number ID, and starting to make sets. While at home, you can count everything: socks, food, toys, rocks, cars. The list is endless. You are also welcome to count the sets of objects. When counting, do not hesitate to have your child point to each item as they count. It will help them track and teach them a teaching term called one-to-one, where they learn the developmental skill of counting each object in a set one time. Only one touch per object. Feel free to develop number identification, but please do not focus on too many numbers at once, as that can be overwhelming. You know your child best, so take it at your child's learning pace. If ready, your child can count the set of objects and find the corresponding number to match. So I took you on a journey of kindergarten readiness activities and various skills that you can work on to help develop or continue developing for your child. This is just a recap of what I covered initially. And just a friendly reminder, if you're looking for somewhere to start, I encourage you to start with this section and make intentional strides on these topics. I also want to reiterate the importance of play again, as many of these skills can be addressed and practiced through intentional play with your child. Moving on to the second portion of the final recap, these are other skills I shared, summarized for you as well. And as I turn back the session to Ms. Carey, I want to wish you all the best during this exciting time in your child's life. And thank you for allowing me to share information with you about your child's kindergarten transition.
All righty, let's talk about a few basic top 10 for our kindergarten parents. So these are things that you should practice with your child, or make sure your child knows how to do prior to coming to kindergarten or throughout their kindergarten year. Make sure you maintain communication with the teacher. It's always great to send the teacher an email just to make sure that you have positive communication between the teacher and what's going on with your child. Write name on loose items of clothing, so like jackets and sweaters, because we know our little kindergarten babies, they always forget to pick up their jacket when they're outside for recess or when they go to the cafeteria. So just if you write their name inside on the tag, that'll be a great way for your child to get back their items. Read with your child daily. Establish routines in your home, like a consistent early bedtime, a place for homework, etc. Setting those routines helps your child stay focused. Again, with the bedtime, making sure you go to bed, like we eat dinner, go to bed at a certain time, so that way your child is prepared each day. And ensure your child knows how to properly use the restroom, including washing his or her hands. Additionally, be sure your child knows and can recognize their first and last names, not just nicknames. It's very important that they know their first and last names. Teach your child how to respond to their name when they're being called. A lot of times, sometimes, kids have nicknames like DJ or BJ. We want to make sure that your child can respond to Benjamin and knows that their full name is Benjamin. Practice opening and closing the book bag, opening your lunch items independently. Practice with your child how to zip, snap, and button your clothing. This is particularly important when they go to the restroom, making sure that they know how to zip their pants, zip their dress, things of that nature. And be sure your child knows how to tie shoes or has Velcro laces. I know when I was in kindergarten, I taught a kindergarten class. I always gave the students the first 9 weeks to get their shoes, practice their shoe tying. And then after that, it was up to them to be able to tie their shoes. So it's good to start practicing that over the summer. At this time, I'd like to turn the program over to Emily Edmonds, who will talk about some community resources that will be helpful to you. Welcome, Emily.
Thank you, Lisa. And again, my name is Emily Edmonds. I am the Administrator of Community Programs for the City of Chesapeake. And today I just want to discuss some resources that we have here for you and make it available for an easy transition to kindergarten. So I want to start off first going over Child Care VA. And so with Child Care VA, that's one of the links. We're going to pull up the website right now for you. 1 second. So on Child Care VA, that is where you can actually go and search for your child care. So if they're in school, you might need before and after care to help them get assistance getting to school, and even after, like say if you have to work, you can go up there and click on the link where it says Find Care. And if you were to click that link, you can search for the providers. You can put in the specifications for what you need. If you want to look for a child day center, a family day home, a religious exempt center, you can select those things. And then also, that is where you're able to select if you are eligible for subsidy and you want to find those subsidy providers. If you click that link, it'll break it down. One of the good things about this link on the website, too, is you can also put in the zip code so that you know those centers that may be close to the school that your child is zoned to. So it also allows you to pull up all the information. You can find specific details about that center, their hours of operation, how to contact, and even like past experiences and reports. When if you click on the link where it says families on the top, you can find information about just quality childcare, things you may want to ask if you're not familiar. If this is your first time looking for childcare and you're just not sure what to ask in your search, there are information listed. There is information listed over there and just how to navigate that system. So getting back to the presentation, one of the other things I want to talk about, so and as I mentioned, subsidy, we click on the link for Common Help. Common Help is the website that allows you to apply for all of your assistance and benefits. So the Common Help website, it is where you can apply not only for subsidy, but even if you're looking for like Medicaid, TANF, SNAP, any of those benefits. So if you click that red square in the middle, you can start your application online. And I do encourage you to apply early if you're not already a current subsidy recipient, because there may be a wait list and it does tend to fill up quickly. So either a wait list to receive subsidy, but then in those specific childcare centers, there may be wait lists there as well. So the earlier you start, the better. If you are approved, there's like a 30-day period for you to select your vendor. So you can start now and then start that paperwork process for them in the anticipation of starting in September, or even if you do utilize it for the summer, then that is an option available. So getting back to the resources, I would also like to say after that, Child Care Aware. So it's another website similar to the Child Care VA website, but they do have someone there that can actually assist you in your search for finding child care resources and information. So what if you're not eligible for subsidy? What if you're a military family? You can search for those child care centers that accept like military assistance and benefits on this website. And then you can also click, and when you scroll down through the website, you can put in your location and you can click Virginia because there's a Child Care Aware VA, and it'll take you to that where you can look and find what is available for your family and in the community. It's similar to that, but it goes through the different providers and also the different options, and they have someone that can kind of walk you through the process, whereas the Child Care VA website is a little more self-guided. But if you do need additional assistance, Child Care Aware of America is able to assist you with that. So one of the last resources is just including the resource guide, so with Chesapeake Thrives. So if you're not familiar with Chesapeake Thrives is the City of Chesapeake's initiative to connect the citizens to resources that are available. So you don't know where to start. It's really essentially there's no wrong door approach to getting information and services in the City of Chesapeake. And this right here on the screen is a copy of our resource guide. So it's broken down by different topic areas, transportation, medical, library, classes. You're looking for early childhood information. It's a wealth of resources. And it is also available on the City of Chesapeake's website in electronic version where you can search. But if you are trying to figure out anything, even if it's not something like childcare related, and you just need some resources and connections, you can reach out to Chesapeake Thrives by contacting 382 City, or even if you go to the City of Chesapeake's website, cityofchesapeake.net and search for Thrives. You'll be able to get connected to someone there to help you find out what is available and how it can best suit your needs. And get back to the presentation. I believe that is all that I have for today. So I'm going to turn it back over to Lisa. But this right here, this slide, it goes through the information. So that city number is 382-2489. And so you can speak to someone and just tell them what it is you're looking for. So even if you're looking for information for your child, your elderly parents, something in the community, the Thrives really has the connections and the partnerships with nonprofit organizations as well as city entities that can assist you along your search and your process. So I will turn it back over to you, Lisa. And if you have any questions, please once again reach out. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much to our panelists. At this time, we are going to answer our Q&A. So we've got a few questions that have come in. Before we start answering those, we have had a couple questions about people trying to register their children for kindergarten. Please keep in mind that the online registration does not open until April 7th. So Monday, April 7th, you will be able to start registering your students for kindergarten. So let's talk about some questions. The first question we have for the panelists, what about PRN medications such as an EpiPen for food allergies?
I can jump in on this one, not a problem. So if your child has a food allergy and requires like an EpiPen, please make sure that when you're registering your child, that you communicate that with the school. It'll also be present in the child's physical, of course, with the from the doctor, and the nurse will preview every single record prior to the student starting kindergarten, and they will be able to be in contact with you, and they will have a plan in place. And our staff is also trained in administering EpiPens, for example. So again, the school is here to support you and your child, but definitely keep that open communication. It will help make the transition a little bit easier for everybody. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. The next question is kindergarten full day or half day in Chesapeake? And kindergarten is full day, but Lauren, do you want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, no, that's not a problem at all. Because I think I saw a question about NAP as well. So I'll address both at the same time if that's okay. So yes, all classrooms, all schools in Chesapeake Public School for kindergarten are full day. And then I did see someone mention something about having a nap. Kindergarten students do not take naps. So therefore, yes, if your child is currently taking naps, I would recommend having a gradual release of weaning your child off of that. But no, regardless if they have naps or if they don't naturally at home right now, the first day of school, the first week of school, they're going to be tired. It's going to be good. Lots of learning.
And as the mom of a current kindergartner, it's more like the first month.
Yeah, I was going to
say. But you'll get through it. You'll get through it. And they'll have so much fun. And that's the most important part. All right, the next question. My child can do all of the activities that you mentioned and is reading and performing past the kindergarten level. Can she be enrolled in first grade?
That's a great question. So first of all, I want to say that's wonderful that your child is progressing nicely through kindergarten, and I hope you feel good and celebrate her successes. However, keep in mind that everything that I went over today is from the kindergarten readiness aspect. I did not review what they're actually learning in kindergarten. There are many, many facets to kindergarten, many different subjects. I know Ms. Carey briefly went over that earlier before I started. And we actually have standards of learning or SOLs within kindergarten that are important that you don't want to skip because they build upon each other as the years go on. However, if you feel like you want to have a further discussion regarding your child's individual circumstance, I encourage you to contact your child's kindergarten school and for more information and of course to communicate your wishes and your questions.
All right, thank you. The next question, how do you sign up for before and after school?
I'm going to let Miss Emily take that one if she doesn't mind.
So there are many ways that you can sign up for before and after school. It's really kind of what best suits your needs. So some of the schools do offer like YMCA programs, and so you could register for that. But then in regards to other programs, you want to look in childcare options, and that is where you would go to like the childcare VA website to look for your different childcare providers, where you can search whether you want to receive subsidy or not go through subsidy and do private pay. That is an option for you to look up. But you want to make sure that when you find a childcare center in the area that you ask them, do they offer before and after care? Some childcare centers, they're already zoned for your child's school. So a school bus may pick them up from there, whereas some options, they do offer transportation. So they may be able to actually drop the kids off and pick them up for that. And then they would complete after school at that childcare center. So if you were to actually find a center that you like, you can go to that childcare VA website. It does have a list of questions that you can ask if you're just not sure with what you're looking for, how to navigate, you can do that. Or even if you have any additional questions, if you call 382 City and Thrives and just say, I need some assistance looking for before and after care, childcare, then I can get you connected with someone and we can help you.
Thank you. We have a couple questions about completing enrollment prior to having a physical. So are you able to start the enrollment process if you're still waiting to have a physical until, say, later in the summer?
I could answer that question. Yes, so you're able to start the process, but we also would like you to make sure you have that done by the first week of August, if possible. This is why we're trying to tell families now to start getting that doctor's appointments in and things of that nature, so you have plenty of time to get that physical form completed. But your child will not be able to start school until all that paperwork is in. So that's why we encourage you to get it in by the first week of August. That way bus transportation can be provided. The secretary has time to review all your files, and your child will get screened so they can be put in the appropriate classroom. So again, you can start the enrollment process, but your paperwork will be held up until everything is in at once. Once everything is in, the school secretary will notify you and let you know that everything is completed. Lauren, I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Nope, you answered that beautifully. Thank you.
All right, the next question, can you talk about what a typical day in kindergarten looks like? And can I hear more about the kindergarten programs at my specific school? Excuse me.
Absolutely. So I'll just talk very briefly about a kindergarten day. It is a full day, like I mentioned before. So that means it has the same hours of operation as any other grade that's in an elementary or a primary school. There is no nap time. We have whole group time. We definitely have small group time as well as center formats. They are able to have recess. They're able to have lunch and breakfast, as well as having some of the school resources such as PE, music, and art. To hear a little bit more specifically to your own kindergarten school, I know that Face mentioned earlier the kindergarten kickoff information sessions. I highly encourage you to attend one of those because they'll be able to speak a little bit more to your site specifically. So if you're able to attend, excuse me, I highly encourage you to go to one of their information sessions.
All right, thank you. This one is about a specific school. Does Chittenden have pre-K, and are meals provided for kindergartners?
So Chittenden does have preschool. It is the early childhood special education classroom, which is a half-day program. However, if you have a Chittenden baby that is found eligible and offered a spot for CPI, all of the Chittenden students attend one of our CPI schools, which would either be Western Branch or Southwestern. But we'll have a future webinar on that for more information. And as for the breakfast portion for kindergartners, I believe they do, but definitely check out that kindergarten information night. They'll be able to tell you exactly how it all works.
Next question, what is the policy for bus riders with older siblings? I know there are different measures for kindergartners.
Absolutely. So great question again. This would be the school would be able to tell you detailed information on it. However, I'll give you a quick overview on it. So kindergartners are required to have a bus card, which in essence means that they cannot get off the bus unless there is an adult that has a matching card to be able to safely retrieve them from the bus. They do have a policy and a process in place where older siblings can retrieve their younger sibling, but they would also have to have a matching card as well. But again, the kindergarten school will be able to give you details as to how to obtain those cards and how to ensure safety is occurring for your kindergartner.
All right, the next two questions I'm going to combine because they ask about physicals. So the question is, what is the earliest date that your child can have a physical appointment and have it count for the 25-26 school year? My son had his last physical in September of 2024, and I then filled out the school physical form. Is that one still valid, or do I need a new one?
You will need a new physical. It's 1 calendar year. So, for example, if you were to get a physical tomorrow, that would count from tomorrow all the way to next year, 2026. So, by the time your child starts school in September, it probably will be 1 full calendar year. And again, if you, let's say, for example, I'm not sure exactly right offhand what day school starts, but if school starts September 3rd and your physical goes to September 4th, I would still go ahead and get another physical in just to be on the safe side. You don't want to put it too close. So again, 1 full calendar year. So I always tell parents that if you had a physical in September, try to go ahead and get that physical in again before the next fiscal year. A lot of times the doctor's office will let you do it like maybe a month early, no sooner than that. So, and what was the other question? I'm sorry, Laura.
I think you covered them both with that answer.
Okay.
And if they need more clarification, please put something else in the Q&A. The next one is about a custody agreement. If our custody agreement doesn't specify anything regarding school zoning or pickups, is that something that you still need?
The custody, go ahead. Yeah, the
No, you're
custody
good.
agreement is number one, they need to know where the child is primarily living. So we go by that for your zone school. The other thing is it's also a protection for pickup purposes. Let's say, for example, you have custody paperwork, but it doesn't say that dad can't pick up the child. Then that means that at any time throughout the day, the dad can come up to the school and pick up your child. So it's very important that any type of paperwork you have with custody arrangements and things of that nature, you're giving a copy to the school just for security purposes should something occur later on. But again, wherever the child's primary residence, that's where the zone school would take place. We don't have transportation where, like, say, for example, if you're zoned for Greenbrier and let's say dad lived in Indian River District, there wouldn't be any transportation to get your child from the Greenbrier school to an Indian River school. So again, you want to make sure you get that paperwork in, and the school secretaries can talk to you a little more in detail about that and how that goes.
All right, the next question. Can car rider parents or guardians walk their children to their classrooms on the first day?
That is up to each individual school. Definitely go to that kindergarten information kickoff night, and that is a fantastic question to ask about how that first day transition occurs. Thank you.
The next question, do the kids get escorted to the bathrooms or do they go independently?
The kids go independently. Most, if not all schools, do a buddy system. So they, a lot of times the class goes to the bathroom as a whole. And if there's not a bathroom within their classroom setting, they have a buddy system where they'll take a buddy with them to the restroom. And then we do have some schools, some of our older schools actually have restrooms within the classroom setting, so that wouldn't necessarily be a problem. But we stress the importance of not having any kids in the hallway without a buddy or an adult with them.
All right. When do parents get a decision on the CPI applications?
That is the first week of July.
All right. Thank you. If there's no primary residence for 50-50 custody, will this cause any enrollment issues?
I would encourage you to call the enrollment office just to double check on that. They are really well versed in looking at custody paperwork and deciding how that works. You can reach them at 757-547-0545, and they could answer your questions in more detail.
All right, the next question, I have twin boys. Do you know if they will be separated or in the same class?
That is a question that you're going to want to talk to your school about, and they will be able to guide you through that.
All right, and then there is a question about the difference between tonight and the kindergarten kickoff night. So tonight is the kindergarten readiness webinar, and each of our primary schools or elementary schools, all of our schools that offer kindergarten, they are each having their own separate in-person night. So that information is on the Chesapeake Public Schools website. So that way you can see which night your zoned school is having their in-person kindergarten kickoff night. And that's where they will talk about school specific items. All right, the enrollment office number, and I'm drawing a blank right now. Can you guys repeat that?
Yes, it's 757-0545. You could also dial the main line, which is 757-0153, and just ask for enrollment. But their direct line is 757-0545. A lot of times, I will tell you that office stays very busy. And so a lot of times you may not get through directly, but you could also leave a message. And someone will get back with you within the course of the day. That office, I can't begin to tell you how slammed that office really can get. So again, if you don't get someone on the phone right away, just leave a message and someone will call you back.
All right, and an enrollment, the full enrollment office number, 757-547-0545. One more time, 757-547-0545. And then another enrollment question, if mom and dad live together, but mom is handling enrollment, but all of the bills are in dad's name, can mom still do the enrollment process?
Say that one more time, sorry.
That's okay. If mom and dad live together, but mom is handling enrollment, but all of the bills are in dad's name, can mom still do the enrollment process?
That would also be a question that I would direct to enrollment. Usually they require whomever is filling out the application to provide the paperwork. But if you could probably provide some type of paperwork that says that you do live in the house as well. There's different boxes that give you rights and things of that nature. And I'm not well versed in to give you specifics on that. But if you call enrollment, they will be able to help you as far as that's concerned, because different situations require different paperwork. And so I don't want to steer you in the wrong direction. So I would really refer to the enrollment office for that.
All right, and it looks like there's a specific physical question that we can answer individually. But another question came in, is registration still required for preschoolers transitioning to kindergarten?
No. So if your child currently attends a Chesapeake Public School preschool program, whether it's reverse mainstream, early childhood special education, or the CPI program, you do not need to do another registration. That will automatically roll over to your home school, but you will need to provide an updated physical and shot record.
All right, thank you. And I believe that we have answered all of the questions. Again, there's one question that we have still open about a specific physical case that we will answer individually. So at this time, we want to thank everyone for joining us for this important conversation. If you'd like to know more about other events that are hosted by our district, please scan the QR codes that will be located on the screen in just a second. Don't forget to download our app so that you get all of the updated notifications about your child's school and the district. At the end of this webinar, you'll receive a brief survey. Please take a moment to complete this so that we may know more about your interests. As always, remember, families and communities work better together. Thank you and have a great evening.